Hi guys, this is James, and I did my research project on the Carlsbad desalination plant. Just a little bit of background here regarding desalination. It's a process that removes mineral components from salty water. You can kind of group it into two separate categories. There's membrane-based desalination and thermal-based desalination. Membrane-based is kind of like reverse osmosis, where pressure forces water through some sort of membrane. Thermal desalination is more like distillation, where you evaporate the water and then get pure water as a result. We talked about this in class, but it's important to note the more salt there is in water, the more energy it takes to desalinate. So a little bit about the specific process here at the Carlsbad plant. There's five different steps that they outline on their website. It's pre-treatment, secondary pre-treatment, reverse osmosis, post-treatment, and storage. Um, Here's a slide about the pre-treatment process for both steps one and two. Step one removes like the bigger particles such as algae or other organic materials. And the secondary pretreatment removes like microscopic impurities. Here's an example diagram on the right-hand side of the slide where the water comes in, it moves through the anthracite, the sand, and the gravel, and then out through the bottom of the chamber here. For step three, it's reverse osmosis, and we did talk about this in class a little bit, but they consider it the heart of the plant. It pushes water through these membranes. As you can see in this diagram here, it comes in on this one side of the tube, and then it moves through these membranes and out on the other side of the tube through the center. The reverse osmosis building at the Carlsbad desalination plant is the biggest part of the plant. It contains more than 2,000 pressure vessels, and it houses more than 16,000 membranes. Another unique part of this plant is the 144 state-of-the-art energy recovery devices. They work by capturing hydraulic energy created by the high-pressure reject stream and using them to bring in inflow water. I consolidated steps 4 and 5 into one step, just post-treatment. As the desalinated water comes through, they move 25% of it through these limestone chips to add minerals from the limestone, and then it's disinfected, fluoridated, and then moved 10 miles to a storage facility through a series of pipes. Here's a timeline here. As you can see, it took about a little bit less than 20 years since the initial idea for the desalination plant came to be and when it was actually built. Part of the reason that it took so long was just there was a very large amount of lawsuits and litigation involving this desalination plant. So that made things a lot more expensive and also made it take a lot longer. So let's talk a little bit about the deal that the San Diego Water Authority has with the private company called Poseidon Water. Basically, in 2012, the SDWA approved a 30-year water purchase agreement with Poseidon Water for the purchase of up to 56,000 acre-feet of water per year. A side note on that is it's a requirement that they purchase at least 48,000 acre-feet of water per year. At the end of the 30-year term, the San Diego County Water Authority may purchase the plant for $1. Seems like a pretty good deal, right? All right, here's some facts about the plant itself and the desalination process. So 1 gallon of potable water produced in the RO membrane, reverse osmosis membrane separation process, produces a gallon of concentrate. When you think about it, it's kind of intuitive. You know, you have 2 gallons of salt water, you split it in half, make one pure, and the other half is twice as salty. It was a $922 million project, and it was the first large-scale desalination plant on the West Coast. It's projected to cost roughly $2 million over the entirety of the 30-year contract. Um, um, Another thing about the cost of the water from the plant is $100 to $200 more per acre foot than recycled water and about twice the price of imported water. Another interesting caveat is the plant cannot operate during red tide, which coincidentally usually occurs during warmer weather when we need the water the most. Upon doing some research online, I quickly found that there was very two different outlooks regarding the plant. And on the left-hand side here, you sort of have this clean, almost like um, environmental view of Poseidon water, and on the other side, you have like this deranged, money grubbing Poseidon here that you have here. I think I took this from a Surfrider website, but I was astonished at how many differences of opinion there were. It's like people either love it or they hate it. But I'll talk about that in the next slide or so. Here's some examples of what some people think. It's an injustice to ask working class families to pay more for water, only to benefit Wall Street investors. That's fair. It will pollute our water, kill our marine life, cost a fortune, and most importantly, we don't need it. Here's another one. This is a quote that I took. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's a quote that I took from the Surfrider, a article on the Surfrider Foundation. Basically, they spent $1.6 million lobbying for the project. Yeah. Now, from the other side, here's something taken from their desalination plant website. From the giant 72-inch intake pipe to the massive reverse osmosis building to our carbon neutral energy recovery system, our state-of-the-art plant is a technological wonder where we make 50 million gallons of fresh drinking water every day. They were also named Energy Champion by San Diego Gas and Electric. And yeah, Energy Champion. I don't know. And they also were honored with the Global Water Award as the Desalination Plant of the Year. There's like a bunch of awards they've been rewarded, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit skeptical to the significance of them. Anyways, some of the pros of desalination. It creates a drought-proof water supply. It's locally controlled. It decreases dependence on the state water project, which there is a lot of, and it's reliable. The cons. It's super expensive. There's environmental concerns. Just type in Surfrider desalination. You'll find plenty of them. It's very energy intensive. And considering how expensive it is and how much energy it takes and the impact on the environment, there's really not that much water that can be made from it. I think I saw a statistics saying that we would have to industrialize the entire California coast and we still wouldn't have enough water based off desalination alone. So it all kind of comes down to the big question of when will desalinated water cost less than imported water? When will it be worth it, right? And the answer is only time will tell. This data was taken regarding the power plant that they're, or not the power plant, the desal plant that they're planning on building in Huntington Beach. And it basically says that a 3% annual increase in water would result in Poseidon water always costing more. But a 6% annual increase would find the desalinated water costing less by 2037. That's less than 20 years. In this other study, they estimate hikes to be between 3 and 5%, and at 4%, it showed Poseidon water becoming cheaper in 2048. So maybe it's really expensive now, but in the future, it might not be so expensive. The next stop for Poseidon water is Huntington Beach. A couple people have posted in the water news about this desalination plant being built there, and it looks like it's going to go through. It's been in the final stages of development, late stage development, they say, but it looks like it's going in. So, yeah. Here's a couple discussion questions for the class that I thought up. Do you think desalination is a practical and appropriate solution to some or all of California's water problems? And another one is, do you think environmental groups such as the Surfrider Foundation have appropriate grievances regarding the construction and operation of large-scale desalination plants? What ulterior motives could they have? I'm not insinuating that they do. I just can't think of any. So if anybody has any good ideas, I would love to hear it. Um, Here's some sources, and that is the end of my slideshow. Thanks so much for listening. Sorry it went over a little bit.